Have you ever found yourself standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into the vast unknown, wondering, what comes next? We've all been there, caught between the past and the future. With no clear path in sight, that weight of uncertainty presses hard on the heart. But amidst all the questions swirling inside you, there is one unshakable truth. God knows exactly what's next for you. Life rarely hands us a detailed map. Instead, we walk through seasons where the future is hidden, where we can't see what lies just around the corner. This uncertainty can feel unsettling, sometimes even paralyzing. We spend endless hours trying to predict what's coming, meticulously planning every detail, desperate to control our future. But here's a powerful reminder for today. You don't have to have all the answers. It's perfectly okay to step into the unknown and still trust that God has your back. So often, we exhaust ourselves worrying about what's next, forgetting a vital truth. God is not caught off guard by your uncertainty. He's not surprised by the twists and turns of your life. The unknown isn't a place to fear when you realize He already knows the way forward. Think back on your own life. How many times has God led you through something confusing? Something you didn't understand in the moment, only for you to look back later and say, that was exactly what I needed. When you face moments where you don't know what's next, remember this: God does. The best thing you can do is trust that He's already preparing the path ahead. Here's something incredible to hold on to. The unknown is not your enemy. We are wired to crave certainty. We want to know the plan, to have control, to see every step laid out clearly. But God's ways don't work like that. He doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He just wants your trust. It's in those moments when we don't know what's next that our faith is stretched and refined. When we surrender our need for control and embrace uncertainty, that's when we open the door for God to move in ways beyond our imagination. God specializes in the unknown. He doesn't expect you to see the whole path. He only asks for one step of faith at a time, even when the next step is hidden from view. Remember Abraham? God called him to leave behind everything familiar, his family, his home, his security, and go to a land he had never seen. Imagine the uncertainty Abraham must have felt. Yet, he stepped out not because he saw the whole picture, but because he trusted the one who was leading him. And God didn't disappoint. The unknown became the launching pad to fulfill God's promises. So today, don't fear the unknown. Embrace it, because in that space of, I don't know, God is waiting to reveal Himself in powerful, life-transforming ways. Face the unknown with confidence, knowing that the one who holds your future is never lost. Maybe you're sitting here right now feeling like your life is a puzzle with too many missing pieces. You can't see the full picture, and it frustrates you. But let me remind you, God's plan for your life is far greater than anything you could design for yourself. The noise of the world, the deadlines, the pressures, the expectations, can make you believe that if you don't have everything figured out right now, you've somehow failed. But trusting God means resting in the truth that He's already mapped out your future, even if it's hidden from your eyes today. Here's the truth. God's plan doesn't require your full understanding. It requires your obedience. We want every detail revealed before we step forward. But God calls us to trust Him with the next step, even when the road ahead is unclear. Look at Joseph's story in the Bible. His path was filled with betrayal, prison, and heartache. Yet at every stage, God was quietly weaving a plan that Joseph couldn't see at the time. Only when the moment was right could Joseph look back and see the purpose behind the pain, the meaning within the struggle. So today, remember this: your life is not a random series of events. God has already written your story, and He is guiding every step you take. Even when it doesn't make sense, trust that His plan is unfolding, leading you toward greater things than you can imagine. How many times have you asked, why is this happening now? Why am I still waiting? We often wrestle with God's timing because it doesn't match our own. We want answers today. We want progress now. But God's timetable is different. His timing is never rushed. It is precise, intentional, and perfect. Every delay, every pause, every season of waiting has a purpose. What seems like a setback may be God preparing you for something far greater. Think about David. When God anointed him king, he didn't ascend the throne immediately. Instead, he spent years running, hiding, fighting battles, and learning to trust God like never before. David's waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God was shaping his character, strengthening his faith, and building the resilience he needed to lead. So if you're in a waiting season, waiting for a breakthrough, a door to open, a change to come, hear this. God's delay is not denial. It's a sign He's at work in your life, preparing you for what's next. You are exactly where you need to be. And when the time is right, He will open doors no one can close. Trust His perfect timing. God is never late, He is always right on time. Continuing from the powerful truth that you don't need to know everything ahead of time. Remember that even when you feel confused and uncertain, there is a greater power guiding you. In the Bible, there's a meaningful story about the Apostle Paul, who asked God to remove a thorn in the flesh, something that caused him immense pain. But instead of removing it, God said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9. This means that what Paul thought he needed wasn't truly what would help him most. What he really needed was to experience God's strength in his weakness. So when you feel like God isn't answering your prayers the way you expected, remember that He knows exactly what you need. Sometimes what is held back from us isn't denial but divine protection. Trust that God sees your needs from an eternal perspective, and His provision will always perfectly align with your purpose. You may be in a season of uncertainty, feeling stuck, wondering why your breakthrough hasn't come yet, why your prayers seem unanswered, or why things are moving slower than you hoped. But here's the truth. God is preparing you for blessings beyond what you can imagine. What looks like waiting is actually divine preparation. God never wastes a season. Every moment of waiting, every challenge, every setback is part of His plan to prepare you for what's next. You might not understand it right now, but every step you take is making room for the blessings God has in store for you. Think about the Israelites wandering in the desert for 40 years. It wasn't because God forgot them, but because He was preparing them to enter the promised land. That desert experience, though difficult, was necessary for them to grow in faith, rely on God, and be equipped to handle the blessings coming their way. Your blessings may be just around the corner, but God will only release them when you are ready to steward them well. God doesn't just give blessings, He prepares you for them. Sometimes, He's strengthening your character, teaching you patience, or refining your heart before opening the door to your next season. The unseen blessings are being built as you walk through the unknown. So don't despair in the waiting. God is working in ways you can't see. He is shaping your future even when you don't feel it. And when the time is right, He will pour out blessings that far exceed what you could have ever imagined. Keep trusting and keep growing, because your preparation is positioning you for the breakthrough that's on its way. Something powerful happens when we choose faith over fear. Fear wants to paralyze you, make you question your future, doubt your purpose, and second-guess every decision. Fear tries to convince you that the unknown is too risky, too dangerous, and that you are not equipped for what lies ahead. But faith doesn't just acknowledge the unknown, it steps into it with confidence, knowing that God is already there. Let's be real, fear is natural. It's human to be afraid of what you cannot see, to be anxious about what you cannot control. But here's the key. Fear is a liar. Fear tells you that you're not enough, that you won't make it, that the challenge is too big for you. Faith reminds you that God is enough, that He has already gone before you, and that through Christ who strengthens you, you can do all things. Philippians chapter 4 verse 13. Think about Peter walking on water. He stepped out of the boat in the middle of a storm, a situation that seemed impossible. For a moment, his faith kept him afloat. But the moment fear took over, he began to sink. Faith keeps you steady. Fear will drag you down. You don't have to know all the next steps to take the first one. What you need is to step out in faith, trusting that God is right there with you, even in the unknown. Fear will always tell you that you're not ready, that you can't do it. But faith says, with God, you are more than enough for what's next. The fear of the unknown can keep you stuck, but faith in the one who holds your future will propel you forward, even when you can't see the whole path. So today, choose faith over fear. Step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that God is already ahead of you, preparing the way. Don't let fear control your steps. Let faith lead you to the breakthrough waiting for you. There are times in life when you may feel lost, unsure if you're on the right path or if you've missed your chance. The road ahead looks unclear, and it's easy to feel disoriented. But let me remind you today, your purpose is secure in God's hands. You are not here by accident. God didn't create you for random circumstances or meaningless wanderings. From the very beginning, He knew you, your purpose, your destiny, and the unique gifts He placed within you. Even if you can't see it now, your purpose is unfolding according to God's perfect plan. Think about Esther, a seemingly ordinary girl placed in an extraordinary situation, facing fears and challenges that seemed impossible. Yet in the midst of it all, God had a purpose for her, to save her people. Esther didn't initially understand her purpose, but when the time came, she rose to the occasion. Her purpose was secure, even when she didn't fully comprehend it. Your purpose is just like hers, not dependent on circumstances, mistakes, or doubts. It is rooted in the truth that God has already prepared good works for you to do. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10. You may not know every step ahead, but trust this. The steps you take today are leading you toward fulfilling God's purpose for your life. Don't let confusion or setbacks make you think your purpose is lost or delayed. God's plan for you is unshakable. He's working behind the scenes, orchestrating events and aligning opportunities to bring you to the place where your purpose will be fully realized. Trust this truth through every season of uncertainty. So stand firm today, knowing that everything you are doing, even in the waiting, is part of the greater purpose God has for you. You are exactly where you need to be, and nothing can take away the purpose God has already ordained for your life. Picking up from the idea that stepping into change can be uncomfortable yet necessary, let's explore how embracing new seasons can open doors to fresh strength, wisdom, and blessings. Change is rarely easy. It often feels unsettling, even painful. But when you trust that God is leading you, you can find peace in the truth that He never brings you somewhere without a purpose. Embrace the change. Step out boldly in faith, knowing that God is using this very moment to position you for something far greater than you could ever imagine. Don't fear what's next. God is already there, waiting for you. Many of us fall into the trap of believing that our current circumstances define our future. We look at where we are right now, whether struggling, stuck in a setback, or enduring a season of waiting, and start to think this is all life has to offer. But hear this clearly today. Your present situation does not dictate your future. Just because you're facing difficulties now doesn't mean that's your destiny. Just because today feels hard doesn't mean you're meant to stay there forever. God specializes in turning the seemingly hopeless into triumphant stories. He takes broken situations and breathes new life into them beyond what we can even imagine. Take Joseph for example, betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. His current reality looked bleak. Yet Joseph didn't let those circumstances define his destiny. Instead, he trusted that God had something greater in store. God used those dark moments to prepare Joseph for greatness. From prison to palace, Joseph became the savior of a nation. His present situation didn't define his future, God did. Whatever you're facing right now, remember this. Your future is in God's hands. Your circumstances may tell one story, but God's plan tells a far greater one. You are not stuck. You are being positioned, prepared, and shaped for the purpose God has designed uniquely for you. Your current reality is only a chapter, not the whole story. So don't let where you are today convince you that's where you'll always be. God is moving you forward. Keep pressing ahead because the best is yet to come. Your future shines brighter than you think, and God is already at work behind the scenes, orchestrating a path toward abundance, peace, and purpose. In a culture that craves instant results and quick fixes, perseverance is often undervalued, but perseverance is the key to unlocking what God has next for you. It's easy to be passionate when everything is smooth sailing, but true growth and breakthroughs come when you push through even when it feels like nothing is changing. God cares deeply not just about the destination, but about the journey itself. Every step you take, even when progress feels invisible, is part of His perfect plan. Perseverance isn't just enduring hardships, it's allowing God to refine and shape you through every challenge. Think about the Apostle Paul. His journey was far from easy. He faced shipwrecks, imprisonment, beatings, and ridicule. Yet, through every hardship, he persevered. Why? Because he knew God was working in him and through him, even in the darkest times. Paul's perseverance led to a powerful ministry that reached the farthest corners of the earth. If he had given up, we wouldn't have the letters and encouragements that have sustained millions throughout history. Perseverance means continuing forward even when the path is rough. It means refusing to quit when promises seem distant or struggles feel overwhelming. It's a deep trust that God isn't finished with you yet, that He is still shaping you and preparing you for the breakthrough ahead. So, when the road feels too hard, or you feel like giving up, remind yourself that your perseverance will bear fruit. God is working in unseen ways, and every step of faith is positioning you for the future He has promised. Keep going, keep trusting. The reward for perseverance always outweighs the sacrifice. God honors those who refuse to give up. We live in a world that encourages us to take control, to plan every detail, manage every outcome, and hold tightly to the reins of our lives. We believe that if we control everything, we can steer our futures in the direction we want. But here's a truth that might feel uncomfortable. True peace comes when you let go of control and trust God's leadership. The reality is, you were never meant to carry the full weight of control. It's exhausting, overwhelming, and ultimately leads to frustration. Life is unpredictable, things change. Doors close unexpectedly. Remember Abraham. God called him to leave everything familiar, his home, family, and security, and follow him into the unknown. Abraham had no map, no clear plan, no guarantees. What he had was trust. He let go of the need to control the outcome and chose to follow God's lead. In surrendering control, Abraham stepped into the greatest blessings of his life. When you surrender control, you open yourself to God's perfect will, perfect timing, and perfect plan. Control is a false sense of security. It tricks you into feeling safe. But true security comes from God alone. He holds your future, your path, and your destiny firmly in His hands. Let go. Trust God. Say, God, I believe you know what's best for me, even when I can't see it. Release the weight that isn't yours to carry. Watch how God moves in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. He's got it all under control. All you need to do is follow His lead. Have you ever found yourself dreaming big, imagining the best life could offer? Yet no matter how grand your dreams, God's plans for you are always bigger, grander, and more incredible than you could ever conceive. Sometimes, we get so caught up in our own visions that we forget how vast God's perspective truly is. Our dreams are limited by our experiences and understanding, but God sees the full picture. He knows exactly what you need, what you can handle, and what will ultimately bring glory to His name through your life. What seems impossible to you is nothing for God. He can accomplish in a moment what we spend a lifetime trying to achieve. Remember Joseph again. As a boy, his dreams were big. He dreamed his family would one day bow to him. But God's plans for Joseph were even greater. What Joseph didn't know then was that God was preparing him to save a nation and to become second in command over Egypt. Joseph's dreams were only the beginning of a grand purpose God had in store for him. Likewise, your plans may feel large, but God's plans are immeasurably greater. He has a purpose for you beyond your current comprehension. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20 says, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us." If you could see the incredible future God has already prepared for you, it would blow your mind. You might not understand it now, but trust that God is leading you to places you've never dreamed of, places that will draw you closer to Him and fulfill His greater purpose for your life. So when you find yourself dreaming big, remember this: God is dreaming even bigger for you. Trust Him, surrender your plans, and believe that the best is yet to come. Picking up from the idea that change and uncertainty can be challenging, let's remind ourselves of a vital truth: you are never alone. Especially when walking through unfamiliar or uncertain times. It's so easy to feel isolated when standing on the edge of the unknown, wondering which step to take next, with no clear path or support in sight. But hear me clearly today: you are never alone. God's promise is sure and steadfast. He will never leave you nor forsake you. That means, in every moment of uncertainty, every season of waiting, And with every step you take toward the future, God is right there beside you. Think about Moses, called by God to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. Moses was overwhelmed, doubting his ability, his worthiness, and his qualifications. But God didn't leave him to face it all alone. God said, "I will be with you." Exodus chapter 3 verse 12. Even in the wilderness, when the path seemed impossible and the future unclear, God was guiding Moses, providing for him, and leading him toward the promised land. Just as God was with Moses, He is with you. When life feels tough and the future looks uncertain, when you stand at the edge of the unknown, never believe God has left you behind. He is surrounding you with His love, strength, and guidance. God knows what's next for you, and He is equipping you for every step on your journey. When loneliness creeps in, when fear tries to convince you that you're on your own, remember this: you have a mighty God walking right beside you. Trust that you are covered by His presence. Lean into that truth. He has already walked ahead to prepare your way and will continue walking with you every step of the way. When life is uncertain, when you don't know what's next, and when the road ahead seems unclear, it's easy to lose hope. But hope is the anchor that keeps your soul steady in life's storms, and the greatest source of hope is found in God's promises. God's promises don't depend on your current circumstances. They aren't shaken by life's ups and downs. They are eternal, unchanging, and powerful. When you put your hope in His promises, you anchor yourself to something far greater than fleeting emotions or temporary struggles. You anchor yourself to God's truth. The Bible is filled with stories of God fulfilling His promises, even when the situation seemed impossible. Abraham and Sarah, Noah, David, they all faced uncertainty and moments where they couldn't see how things would work out. But they held fast to God's promises, knowing He is faithful to do what He says. Take the Israelites, for example. They were slaves in Egypt, oppressed and seemingly forgotten. Yet, God had promised deliverance. Despite their grim reality, God's promise was stronger. He parted the Red Sea, led them through the wilderness, and brought them into the promised land. Today, you may be in a place of waiting, unsure of your next step. But God's promises remain true. He promises never to leave you, to guide you, to provide for you, and to give you a future filled with hope, no matter how difficult your current circumstances. Hold tightly to that hope. Hope in God's promises isn't wishful thinking. It's a confident expectation that what God has spoken over your life will come to pass. He knows what's next for you, and He is faithful to bring it to fruition. Your future is secure in His hands. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, where are you right now in life? Are you facing uncertainty, standing at a crossroads, or simply waiting for what's next? It's natural to feel overwhelmed or like you're walking blind. But I want to remind you, God knows exactly what's next for you. You might not have all the answers yet, and that's okay. What you have is even better: a God who sees the end from the beginning, whose plans are greater than your own, and who is walking right alongside you, guiding and preparing you for what's to come. When life feels uncertain, remember this: God is working behind the scenes. You are not alone in the unknown. You are not left to figure it all out by yourself. His timing is perfect, His plans flawless, and His love for you unshakable. Every challenge you face, every setback, every season of waiting, is not a sign God has forgotten you. It's a sign He is preparing you for something greater. He is refining you, strengthening your faith, and positioning you for the blessings ahead. You might not see it now, but God is working in ways beyond your understanding. So let go of fear. Release doubt. Trust that God's promises are true. You are on a journey. You may not know every step ahead, but you can rest assured God does. His plans for you are bigger than you can imagine, filled with purpose, peace, and a future brighter than you can comprehend. In closing, no matter where you find yourself today, trust this: your tomorrow is in God's hands. He knows what's next for you. And when you put your trust in Him, He will lead you to places beyond your wildest dreams. Keep faith, keep hope. Your future is secure in His hands.